When we think about modern-day football and the constant Messi versus Ronaldo debate that persists throughout the footballing community, a lot of football fans consistently overlook and have various takes on who takes that potential number 3 position. The usuals that belong in that contention for this position of this generation's third best footballer are often Neymar, Karim Benzema, and Luis Suarez. Yet one player that constantly gets overlooked for his simplistic yet elegant footballing prowess is Luka Modric. Luka Modric, the first Ballon d'Or winner to end the 10-year Messi-Ronaldo dominance during their respective primes. Modric, who is a very textbook technically gifted midfielder, is typically deployed as a creative playmaker to set the tempo of the match by controlling possession from the middle of the pitch. Modric, who is known for his swift passing and long-range shots, as well as composure and ability to evade tackles under pressure, often goes underappreciated by footballing fans. Nonetheless, over the past couple of years, Modric's tactical intelligence and versatility in both attack and defense, as well as his vision, interpretation of space, and work rate has made himself an integral piece to the success of both Real Madrid and the Croatian national team. Dubbed as the maestro of midfield and the puppet master, we will be exploring the story of Luka Modric and how Modric's career makes him the best suited for the third position in the Messi-Ronaldo era of football. The story of Luka Modric takes us all the way to Central Europe, an area of the world which at one point in time was never synonymously related to the sport of football. Yet in the hamlet of Modrici, a part of the village of Zaton Obravaki found on the southern slopes of the Velebit mountain, became the home of a footballing legend that will leave a strong impact on the game. Born on the 9th of September in 1985 to parents Stipe Modric and Radojka Dopud, Luka Modric spent his childhood in Croatia, which was then a republic of Yugoslavia. Modric's parents, who spent the majority of the time working in the garment factory, consequently led the young Modric to stay and spend his time with his grandfather, where he would spend his days shepherding goats. However, in 1991, Croatia would face one of its hardest times of the Croatian War of Independence. During this war, the Croatian government and the Croat forces insisted on declaring independence from what was then considered the Serbian-controlled Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, with local Serbian forces opposing the Croatian freedom fighters. As many might understand, this led to numerous Croats struggling to survive and a mass migration of Croats out of the region. Of these Croatian families that were fleeing the country included the Modric family. Modric's village, which was raised by Serbian forces, eventually led to his grandfather being executed by Serbian rebels in December of 1991. Upon learning this, Luka Modric's father led his family and fled their small Croatian village to seek safe refuge. It only took a few days before Modric's house was burned down by Serbian rebels. Consequently, the family traveled around as refugees, trying to find places to live in and stay the night. In interviews, Luka recalled that he would often hear the noises of loud explosions and gunfire, but was ignorant to it due to being very young. Eventually, the family found refuge with their family at hotels in Zadar, a city on Croatia's Dalmatian coast. During this time, Luka's father enlisted for the Croatian army, where he would work as an aero mechanic during the war. However, even with refuge, Luka Modric's life was one of turmoil, with thousands of bombs falling within range of his city. Nonetheless, during this time, Modric would escape the harsh reality and the nightmares of the war by playing football to keep himself occupied. And as such, he would spend the majority of his youth unaware of the reality of the tough times his family fell across, essentially removing the war in his life with the sport of football, which his parents approved of due to immense happiness it brought to the young child. Understandably, the only football the young Modric played during this time was at the parking lots of these abandoned hotels, where other refugee children would play, and as such, when he entered school in 1992, he also joined a sporting academy with the funding given by small amounts of money his own family had as well as from his extended family. Eventually, the talented Modric found himself participating in local footballing camps, and found himself training in the youth academy of local side NK Zadar. Here at Zadar, Luka would infamously lace up his boots and place wooden shin guards, fashioned by his father underneath his socks due to their financial status at the time. Nonetheless, under the guidance of coaches Domagoj Basic and Tomislav Basic, Modric would train, yet due to his family's tough financial times, Modric would reportedly be labeled as too light, and as such not as strong on the ball as others. In doing so, the young Modric tried moving out of Zadar onto a bigger stage at Hajduk Split, yet he was unable to secure any interest from the management team due to his apparent diminutive physicality. As such, missing out on an opportunity to prove himself at the forefront of Croatian football, Modric, and the basics arranged a move for the 16-year-old youngster to play at Dinamo Zagreb for the 2002 season. At his time in the PRV HNL, Modric played for Zagreb's youth side but was loaned in 2003 to play for Zrinjski Mostar in the Bosnian Premier League. Although to many this might seem like a vertical move to help Modric's career, it was not intended to be that way. During the time, the Prva HNL was the forefront of Croatian football, and that was mainly due to the illustrious chances it provided for the footballers within its league. However, the Bosnian Premier League was seen as the complete opposite, seen as the chopping block of the HNL. In the Bosnian Premier League, many players were pushed to their limits, and as such, way for the Croatian sides to test which players had potential and the ability to persevere. Nonetheless, to add on to this notion, the team that Modric was playing for was not a club that was really well liked among Bosnians. Zrinjski was seen as a Croatian team in a Bosnian league, often finding Croatian talents to represent them rather than allowing for more Bosnian players to find a spot on their side. In doing so, Bosnian fans and supporters often disregarded the team and treated them harshly, especially during what was already a socially divided time for Croats. Despite the environment in which Modric found himself, Modric forged his own path. Persisting through training camps and finding himself in the starting 11 of the team, Modric made his mark showing off his versatile style of play, outside of his normal position, yet still thriving, putting up amazing numbers at the age of 18. In his debut season, Modric won the Bosnian Premier League Player of the Year at the ripe age of 18, cementing himself as someone who could compete at higher levels of European football. And in doing so, seeing the success that came from the youngster in the Bosnian Premier League, Zagreb loaned out the youngster to Croatian side Inter Zapresic, where Modric did not shy away. In his second professional season, Modric played a pivotal role at Zapresic, leading the side to a second-placed position in the PRVA HNL, where he netted 4 goals in the 18 games he played at midfield. With his impression being evident, Dinamo Zagreb were adamant on keeping the youngster on their side. As such, in 2005, Modric signed a 10-year contract after receiving an offer from team executive Zdravko Mamic ahead of the 2005-2006 season. With his first big-term contract, Modric had finally seen himself amount above the low financial barriers his family had been facing for the entirety of his childhood, and as such, he used his first earnings to buy his family a flat in Zadar. Moreover, his effort of play did not let up to this point. In his debut season for Zagreb, Modric earned a place in the squad's first team, contributing to a total of 8 goals in 32 matches to help secure Zagreb the league title. Moving into his sophomore season of the club, Zagreb repeated their league success with Modric playing a pivotal role in setting up striker Eduardo with numerous assists in plays to help establish Modric as a magical midfielder with amazing football IQ able to quarterback set pieces. With his success in the 2006-2007 season, pushing 11 goals and 8 assists in a total of 49 starts of the team, Modric was awarded the PRVA HNL Player of the Year, with the youngster being named team captain of the following year. With his success at the club, Modric was able to compete for Croatia's national team, and as such, the young Croat who had consistently made the youth squad for the country made 2 appearances in the 2006 World Cup Finals as a substitute in the group fixtures against Japan and Australia. Furthermore, with the appointment of new manager Slaven Bilic to lead the Croatian men's national side, Modric earned greater recognition at the international level, with more frequent caps which helped him score his first national team goal in Croatia's 2-0 friendly win over world champions Italy on the 16th of August in 2006. Back at the club level, Modric kept putting up wonderful performances for Zagreb as team captain, where he found himself qualifying to compete at the UEFA Cup, competing at the continental stage in their second tier of football. During this campaign, in the final playoff stage, Modric converted a penalty in the second and away fixture against Ajax, and the match finished 1-1 after regular time. Nonetheless, Dinamo won the match and the playoff with a score of 3-2 after extra time, with 2 goals from teammate Mario Mandzukic. However, Dinamo Zagreb failed to advance beyond the group stage. However, at the Croatian level, Modric continued to tear up the league, helping Zagreb not only secure first place in the HNL for the 3rd year in a row, but also net a total of 13 goals and 11 assists, in a year where the Croatian side also won the Croatian Cup and won the league by an astonishing 28-point margin. With his impact being felt across all over Croatia, the Croatian Football Federation named Luka Modric the Croatian Footballer of the Year for the 2007 season at the age of 22, becoming the youngest recipient of the award. As such, over the 4-year tenure with the club, Modric made his mark becoming a club legend with a tally of 31 goals and 29 assists over 4 league seasons. With obvious talent, it was not long before numerous top teams in Europe started noticing the phenom in Croatia. As such, numerous sides, including Barcelona, Arsenal, and Chelsea, sent in offers to sign in the young Croatian. The youngster remained hesitant to sign, opting to wait before leaving the club. During this time, with Modric's dominance at the club level, it was not long before that Modric landed himself a regular place on the international side for Croatia. As such, during the lead-up to the 2008 UEFA Euros, Modric led a major qualifying campaign, showing up in big games, including a decisive victory against a tough English side. With these continual dominant performances, the young midfielder began to gain more media attention and hype from various other interested clubs. In doing so, some went on to call the youngster the Croatian Cruyff. During the 2008 Euros, Modric did not disappoint, scoring Croatia's first goal of the tournament, on a penalty against hosts Austria. This conversion on the penalty helped secure the young midfielder as the team's youngest goal scorer at the age of 22. With continued dominance for what was considered as one of the most unrecognized European sides, specifically with a win against Germany, one of the stronger teams heading into the tournament who were actually favorites to win the tournament and went on to play in the finals of this tournament, Croatia bested them, with Modric being named UEFA Man of the Match. With that all being said, Croatia would be bested by Turkey in a penalty shootout, eliminating them from the tournament on 3-1 penalties. With electrifying performances, Modric was included in the UEFA team of the tournament, becoming only the second Croatian to achieve this honor after Davor Šuker. With the interest growing for the young Croatian, with teams such as Manchester City and Newcastle United joining in on the already expansive list of teams interested in signing the youngster, a new face emerged. On April 26, 2008, Tottenham Hotspur's club chairman, Daniel Levy, flew to Zagreb alongside Juan de Ramos, the team manager at the time, to watch the youngster play. After watching Modric play, the team was eager to sign the midfielder, offering a transfer fee of £16.5 million, which became the club's record for the highest transfer fee. Upon signing for the English side, Modric wore the number 14 in commemoration of inspiration Johan Cruyff, the same legend who Modric was drawing comparisons to at the international stage. At his time at Tottenham, Modric saw himself make his Premier League debut on August 16, 2008, where the team would lose out to Middlesbrough. Ultimately, Modric would have a very slow start for the team, suffering a knee injury early into his debut season, which led to scrutiny under the English media, titling the Croatian as weak and lightweight, with even then Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger agreeing onto the notion. Moreover, alongside the fact that Modric was returning back into form, the Hotspurs played the Croatian in all the wrong positions, sometimes playing left wing for the English side. Although Modric was a very smart footballer who had a great grasp on positioning, this out-of-position time at Tottenham led Modric to struggle a lot more for the club. Yet with the sacking of manager Ramos in favor of new manager Harry Redknapp, Modric was given a new chance to shine. Playing in a more familiar role as a central or left-sided midfielder, Modric was highly valued by Redknapp, with him going as far as shaping the team around the playmaker, who was clearly leaving a valuable impact on the English side. Finally, Modric netted his maiden goal for Tottenham in a 2-2 draw against Spartak Moscow during a group stage match in the UEFA Europa League. Modric's first Premier League goal did not take long to follow, with the midfielder netting it against Newcastle United in an eventual away defeat on the 21st of December 2008. At the end of the season, Modric was able to salvage the year with 3 goals and 6 assists in 35 matches played. During the offseason, Redknapp would praise Modric and combat media scrutiny by labeling the midfielder as any coach's dream to work with, illustrating how hard-working Modric was and how he was able to handle pressure to become stronger and better overall. Yet at the start of the 2009-2010 season, Modric sustained a fracture to his right fibula, which would rule him out for 6 weeks. But upon his arrival, Modric would continue where he left off, helping the Spurs go on an amazing run, where Modric would end the season with 3 goals and 3 assists in only 25 matches played. After this fantastic run, the Spurs finished 4th of the Premier League, helping the team secure a spot in the Champions League in what had been a long drought for the club. With his value only rising, Modric would be eyed by numerous other clubs in Europe and within the Premier League. In the 2010-2011 season, Modric would start to find his groove as a midfielder with the assistance of forward Gareth Bale. With his dynamic duo, Tottenham would have a valiant season with numerous victories and continuous words of praise for the Croatian to come, from not only his coach but pundits across the world. The Spurs would go on only to make it out the group stage in the Champions League, but would eventually lose out to Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. With that being said, the Spurs finished the Premier League just outside of Champions League qualification with a 5th place finish and Modric finishing the season with 4 goals and 2 assists in 51 matches. This great performance with fantastic pass completion rates and the highest average number of passes per match for the Spurs made him become the Tottenham Hotspur's Player of the Year. During the 2011-2012 campaign, it was clear that Modric would exit the side very shortly, and midway through the summer, Modric was pursued by Tottenham's London rivals of Chelsea, who offered an initial bid of £22 million, which they would raise to £27 million when the first bid on wanting out of the club, stating that he would like to move to a big club. Refusing to play at the start of the season, Modric continued to force his move to Chelsea, with the club offering a sum of £40 million for the midfielder, which was then rejected again. With no transfer falling through, Modric continued to play for Tottenham for that season, and ended the season with a total of 6 goals and 6 assists in 51 matches played. On the 27th of August in 2012, Modric made a move away from Tottenham. For many at the time, they thought the midfielder would be moving to Chelsea, but rather Modric would move to completely away from England and land himself in Spain at the Bernabeu. On an approximate £30 million transfer fee, Luka Modric signed a 5-year contract with Spanish side Real Madrid, where he would make his debut against Barcelona only 2 days after signing the 2012 Supercopa de España as a late substitution for Mesut Ozil. Madrid ended up winning the match, giving Modric his first career trophy 36 hours after signing for the rebuilding Spanish side. Despite constant positive contributions, Modric would not find himself starting for the Spanish club, which was then led by manager Jose Mourinho. Mourinho, who was on a historic team, preferred the utilization of veterans midfielders such as Xabi Alonso, Sami Khedira, and Mesut Ozil. In doing so, Modric was often kept out of the starting lineup for his debut season of the 2012-2013. Moreover, another struggle arose when the player was placed out of position in the few starts he got. Yet, on November 3rd, Modric scored his first goal for Real Madrid in the last minute of their 4-0 victory against Real Zaragoza. After what could be considered an underwhelming season, Modric finished the season with 3 goals and 3 assists in the 33 matches he played. But to add insult to injury, at the end of his debut season, Spanish newspaper Marca titled Modric as one of the worst signings of the season in European football, due to what had been then dubbed as a preposterous transfer fee. After that season, Real Madrid had changed management teams and brought in new manager Carlo Ancelotti, which brought out a lot of good favor for the Croatian. Modric, who would be paired in the correct midfielder slot with Xabi Alonso, would provide a lot of that tactical ball knowledge to open up creative attacks and structure their defensive presence as a whole. To boot, under Ancelotti, Modric quickly became the team's most efficient passer, averaging 90% accuracy in the league and having the most ball recoveries among the squad. The 2013-2014 season, Modric netted his first goal in the last Champions League group stage match against Copenhagen. On this year, Modric would continue to be an important piece of this team, which would see the Madrid lift the 2013-2014 Copa del Rey against Barcelona. Simply, outside La Liga play, Modric became a vital play in Cristiano Ronaldo's dominance in Europe, becoming his set-piece coordinator with defensive set-pieces plays to assist Ronaldo over wins against Borussia Dortmund in the quarterfinals and Bayern Munich in the semifinals. For both of these performances, UEFA congratulated the midfielder with Team of the Week nods. To finish off the European season, Madrid would find themselves in the fun. Modric would take a corner to help assist teammate Sergio Ramos score an equalizer to push the game to extra time. In extra time, Madrid would dominate with a 4-1 win. As such, during his second season, Modric became a Champions League champion and a part of La Decima, Real Madrid's 10th Champions League title. Without Modric knowing, more was on the way. At the end of all this, Modric was even able to make the UEFA Champions League Team of the Season and receive the La Liga Best Midfielder Award by finishing off with 1 goal and 6 assists. In the summer of the 2014 World Cup, Croatia entered Group A with host Brazil, Mexico, and Cameroon. Croatia played the opening match against Brazil, which they lost 3-1, and Modric sustained a minor foot injury. The second match, Croatia won 4-0 against Cameroon, but did not progress to the knockout stage after losing 3-1 to Mexico. Despite the great expectations from the Croatian press and public, in doing so, upon Modric's return to Madrid in August 2014, the Croatians signed a new contract to stay at Real Madrid until 2018, now being partnered up with Toni Kroos after the departure of Alonso. The 2014-15 season was one of ups and downs. Beginning the season off very strong, Madrid won the 2014-2015 UEFA Super Cup with a win against Sevilla, where Modric had 2 assists for a familiar friend Gareth Bale. Yet in late November, when playing an international friendly against Italy, Modric sustained a thigh injury, which placed him on the injury reserve list, taking him out of play for 3 months. Upon his return, Modric would return to form, but would shortly strain the ligaments in his right knee, ruling him out for the remainder of the season, which led to Madrid having a marginal deficit in second place, noting Modric to be one of the most essential pieces of the squad. This led to Modric being part of the FIFA World Cup 11 for the first time after the 2015 season with 1 goal and 3 assists in only 16 matches played. Moving into the next season, Ancelotti would be replaced by Benitez, where Modric would still have a vital role in the midfield. However, Benitez, after having a lackluster start to the season, would see new manager Zinedine Zidane be appointed in January 2016, with Zidane seeing Modric as his successor in the midfield of Madrid, calling him a master of the game. Modric, who had now been a regular, would be playing to the best of his ability under the guidance of Zidane. To wrap up the season, Modric would end his season taking home a Champions League after a finals win against Atletico Madrid. This star-studded performance would land him in both the Champions League team of the season and La Liga team of the season, and let him win the LFP award for Best Midfielder for the second time in a row, alongside a second-time spot for the FIFA World Cup 11. With 2 goals and 4 assists in 32 matches played, Modric signed a new contract in 2016, which would keep him on the Spanish side until 2020. Modric's dominance did not lead up, and after the 2016 FIFA Club World Cup win for Real, Modric would be given the silver ball for his performance and was awarded for the UEFA Team of the Year for the first time in his career. Modric, who became a seasoned veteran when the 2016-17 season rolled around, found himself starting in almost every match, being just as important as any of the dominant attacking trio at the time. During his prime in 2016-17, Modric would help lead Madrid win the league title and the Champions League, with decisive assists for Ronaldo to finish help Modric round out his season with a spot on the Champions League team of the season. Moreover, by having 1 goal and 2 assists in 25 matches played, Modric became the first Croatian to win the Champions League 3 times. Furthermore, Modric received the UEFA Club Football Award for being the best midfielder of the Champions League season and finished 4th of the UEFA Men's Player of the Year award and finished 5th of the 2017 Ballon d'Or, but was still able to pick up a spot on the FIFA World 11 for the 3rd time in a row. Heading into the 2017-2018 season, Luka Modric started the year by helping Madrid win the 2017 FIFA Club World Cup, where he was named the best player of the competition, and as such, given the Golden Ball award for his performance. With another dominant season in the books, Modric eventually finished the campaign off with 1 goal and 6 assists, which helped him land his second best appearance on the UEFA Team of the Year in 2017, and from there he went on to be a regular starter for Madrid's 17-18 Champions League run, where Madrid would 3-peat against Liverpool, coming forward as the best midfielder of the Champions League season for the 2nd consecutive time. Even with all this dominance, controversy followed the Croatian. In March of 2018, in an embezzlement and tax evasion trial against the former Dinamo Zagreb executive, Zdravko Mamic, one of the team executives who was an important player in signing Modric, led to the midfielder being called up as a witness. Throughout the mid-late 2000s, Modric signed multiple contracts with Mamic to play at Dinamo Zagreb. Modric annexed most of his Tottenham transfer fee to Mamic because he was the broker of the move and gave Modric financial backing early on in his career. Despite stating in 2017 that he signed the annex clause of the contract 10 years earlier, in his testimony he stated that he signed it in 2004, the year of his first contract. Modric was charged with perjury for stating that he annexed his fee at an earlier date than he allegedly had. Facing the judge, he said, "I came here to state my defense and tell the truth. Like every time so far, my conscience is clear." The Croatian Football Federation stood behind Modric, but the Croatian public did not like what he had done. Frustrated by the blatant corruption in the Croatian football and the alleged perjury which Modric had committed, Modric was being defamed throughout the entirety of Croatia, with people going as far as to deface his childhood homes, even the ones that were burned down by the Serbian rebels. Seen as a puppet, Modric faced immense scrutiny and hatred from the public. Nonetheless, during the summer of 2018, Modric had been named the captain of Croatia's men's national team heading into the Russia World Cup. Yet during the lead-up to Croatia's 2018 World Cup campaign, Croatia started well. However, following 1-0 defeats to Iceland and Turkey and a 1-1 draw with Finland, Croatia seriously compromised their qualification for the tournament. This caused Modric to publicly state his lack of confidence in coach Ante Čačić, who would then go on to be replaced by Zlatko Dalic ahead of Croatia's final qualifier against Ukraine, which Croatia won 2-0 and won a place in the playoffs. Additionally, Modric scored a penalty in the 4-1 victory over Greece in the second qualifying round, enabling his team to qualify for the World Cup. At the 2018 World Cup, Croatia were placed in Group D alongside Argentina, Iceland, and Nigeria. During the tournament, Croatia would open the run with a vital win against Nigeria. Modric once again successfully executed a penalty kick and was named man of the match. He also scored in Croatia's subsequent 3-0 win over Argentina with a long-range shot from 25 yards, grabbing a second consecutive man of the match. After also featuring in the final group stage match against Iceland, his performances in the first round of the tournament saw him ranked by 442, the Daily Telegraph and ESPN, as the best player of the group stage round in the World Cup. In the round of 16 against Denmark, with the score tied at 1-1, Modric created a goal-scoring opportunity for Ante Rebic in the second half of extra time, who was brought down the penalty area. Modric proceeded to take the penalty, but his strike was saved by Kasper Schmeichel. However, Modric managed to score his spot kick during the ensuing penalty shootout, and Croatia advanced to the next round following a 3-2 victory on penalties. In the quarterfinals against hosts Russia, Modric provided an assist in extra time for Domagoj Vida from a corner kick, and once again scored in the victorious penalty shootout following a 2-2 draw, where he was named man of the match for the third time of the tournament. In the semi-final against England, Croatia advanced in a nail-biting fashion to the World Cup final for the first time in their history, following a 2-1 victory in extra time. From not making out the group stages back in 2014 to barely qualifying into the World Cup, Modric had been lights out football throughout the entirety of the tournament, proving himself time and time again as a world-class player and the best midfielder in the world. Unfortunately, this fairy tale run came to an end as Croatia were beaten 4-2 by France in the final after a dominant France was just too much for the Croatian side to handle. Nonetheless, due to this stellar performance in the World Cup, Modric was awarded the Golden Ball for the best player of the tournament and was included in the final team of the tournament. More importantly, the public outcry that went against Modric came to an end as he was welcomed back into his hometown of Zadar, and the cases that were filed against him were ultimately resolved with no indictments being given out to Modric. Upon his return in August and September, Modric respectively won the UEFA Men's Player of the Year award and the Best FIFA Men's Player award. Ultimately, this all culminated into a historic December that changed the trajectory of Modric's career and the conversation around him. Modric, nominated alongside Antoine Griezmann, World Cup winner, and coming off an elite performance for France, and former teammate Cristiano Ronaldo, who had just departed to join Italian side Juventus, coming off a historic run at Real Madrid, being just as vital as Modric in the three-peat Champions League run of 2017-18. Yet heading into the awards show, Modric was being heavily favored due to his amazing stint at the World Cup, as well as fantastic performance for Real. And in the end, Modric prevailed, adding the Ballon d'Or to his personal tally, marking first time since 2007 that the award was not won by Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, which polarized the people involved in the sport into two camps about the credibility of the award. Besides just becoming the first ever Croatian player to win these awards, Modric was the first player to win both the World Cup, Golden Ball, and the UEFA Men's Player of the Year award in the same year since Ronaldo Nazario in 1998, and the World Cup Golden Ball and the Best FIFA Men's Player of the Year award after Romario in 1994. Additionally, Modric became the first player to win the awards from the former Yugoslavia territory, the first footballer from Eastern Europe to win a Ballon d'Or after Andrei Shevchenko in 2004, and the 10th player from Real Madrid to capture the trophy. Finally, to wrap up the year, Modric was also included in the FIFA World 11 for the fourth time, and won the IFFHS World's Best Playmaker award. In the 2018-2019 season, Modric continued to illustrate why he was such a steady player in the midfield, having another class season with Madrid under new manager Julen Lopetegui. During the season, Modric won his third FIFA Club World Cup, even going as far as scoring the first goal and assisting the third and final goal, being named to the UEFA Team of the Year for the third time in his career. And despite what was labeled as an underwhelming season for the Croatian, with 3 goals and 6 assists in 34 games, Modric was still included on the FIFA World 11 for the 5th consecutive year. Pushing to the 2019-2020 season, numerous fans and media sources claimed that Modric was growing too old to be starting and playing for the club if they wanted to continue the same level of dominance. At the age of 33, Modric had now been playing for 7 years at Madrid. Yet Modric went on to dispel critics, performing admirably for the Spanish side. To begin, Modric would win the 2019-2020 Supercopa de España against Atletico on penalties, and capped off the season with a league title win, and capping the year off with 3 goals and 7 assists over 31 matches. Heading into the 2021-2022 campaign, Modric was now playing his 10th season for the Spanish Giants, and October 30th was handed the captain armband for the first time after Marcelo subbed off the match. On the 7th of December, Modric played his 100th Champions League match and was named man of the match in a 2-0 win against Inter Milan. Moreover, to start the 2022 year, Modric went on to score the first goal of the Supercopa de España final and take home man of the match as Madrid cruised past Bilbao for the tournament win. This goal also made him the oldest goal scorer in the history of the competition. Continuing along this year, Modric was a crucial part in the Champions League run, where he would have a crucial assist in both legs of the quarterfinals matches against Chelsea, where Madrid won 5-4 on aggregate. Moreover, heading into the semi-finals, Modric played an important long-range Trivela assist for Rodrigo to net the decisive goal to send Madrid through the finals. From these performances, Modric received Man of the Match and Player of the Week nods from UEFA. At the end of the season, Modric went on to win Real their 31st and 3rd Spanish title, as well as his 5th Champions League title with a 1-0 win over Liverpool. Ending the season, Modric had 2 goals and 8 assists over 28 matches played. Before the winter of 2022, during the 2022 World Cup qualifying, Modric scored 3 times and assisted twice in 7 appearances. On the 9th of November, Modric was selected to Croatia's final squad for the 2022 FIFA Club World Cup. In the first and third group stage games against Morocco and Belgium, he was named Man of the Match, becoming the first player to play in both the European Championship and the World Cup in 3 different decades. In the round of 16 quarterfinals, Croatia advanced on penalties against Japan and Brazil, with Modric scoring in the shootout against Brazil, and captaining Croatia to a 2nd consecutive World Cup semi-final, where they lost out to eventual winners in a 3-0 fashion to Argentina. Nonetheless, in the 3rd place playoff, Croatia prevailed 2-1 over Morocco to secure the 3rd place position, and individually, Modric won the bronze ball. On his return back to Madrid, Modric would have yet again a stellar performance, showing no signs of letting up by finishing his 2022-2023 season with 4 goals and 3 assists over 33 matches. During the summer of 2023, after being pursued by numerous Saudi clubs to sign for them, Modric decided to re-sign and extend his contract until 2024, showing the longevity of the Croatian. All in all, when we look at this story of Luka Modric, what we can understand and observe is an innate passion that cannot be replicated in many footballers. This instinct to create and plays and be the glue that can hold a team together is a hard find these days, and when we think about the impact that this man had, it will often go unnoticed, but that is the beauty of Modric's elegant game. The softness of his skill and the efficiency of his plays, can we really truly understand what it takes to be the best? But to put it bluntly, the road to this level of success and respect on the pitch was not a journey that many would have made. From being a refugee and having to find shelter away from bombs and gunfire, to playing in parking lots, to playing with wooden shin guards, to having to endure the harshness of pro football on his own, yet to take this adversity and rise above it all, to become one of the greatest is one of the highest accomplishments one can obtain. More importantly, Modric now serves as a reminder of what it means to work hard and give it your all, and in doing so, has forged a new legacy, putting his country on the map for the beautiful game, engraving his name in the mouths of fans of the game for years to come as a magician of the midfield.